Welcome to episode 121 of Quarkus Insights. And it's this time of year where we learn about time zones again. Because for some reason, Europe and US still doesn't have a line.
Time zones are a pain.
Yes. So I hope there's some people got on the right time zone. At least we think we did.
But do you know when you get those emails a lot, like people like trying to schedule a meeting with you, and then you always had to ask which time zone?
Yes. So anyway, what else do we have on news here? So we have our Alpha 5 that came out last week of Quarkus 3, and I think there's an Alpha 6 cooking. One of the things that we had to do different last week, or differently, what we did big was the Hibernate got into it, Hibernate ORM in Quarkus 3. Hibernate 6 in Quarkus 3. The version numbers are hard. But in that, we had to disable Hibernate Reactive because the integration there wasn't good enough. But we work on enable that again. And there'll be an Alpha 6. And any other alphas we think we'll need will come at a whatever pace we can to get it there. So anyway, if you're trying out, if you're really interested in seeing Quarkus running on Jakarta-based dependencies, then Quarkus 3 is for you. There's also some other new features like Dev Console, Dev UI, and Mutiny Flow, and a few other things in there. But yeah, try it out and give feedback. That's the thing we after. And we provide some migration toolkit. So if you look at the release blog, it will explain to you how to do that. So you should be able to migrate fairly easily. Cool. Any other news, Roberto?
No, I think you pretty much nailed it. It's been unfortunately we haven't been moving as fast as we want because of all the Jakarta stuff.
Yeah.
But getting this out of the way, I think we should be able to keep pushing more features, more and more, like people are used to, right?
Yeah, definitely. So cool. Anyway, as always. Oh,
sorry. You can thank Oracle
lawyers.
What do you say, Roberto? You can thank Oracle lawyers for that.
No comment. Okay, so anyway, we got Andre Petras. Is it Petra or Petras?
Petras, yeah, that's correct.
Petras, awesome. Yeah. Cool. And he'll start talking about, he's done a bunch of stuff, and he'll cover it. And as always, you can put a question in chat, and then we will interview it. And if not, then me and Roberto will make stuff up on the fly. We'll go for it. Yeah. Anyway, Andre, if you can introduce yourself and let me know you want to share the screen, then I'll do that too.
Okay. Hi, my name is Andre Petras. I work as an architect at Capgemini, and I'm open source contributor to the Quarkus and also other stuffs, but mainly currently to the Quarkus. And you can see my screen or not yet?
You can in a few seconds.
Yeah, okay. Let's go. I would like to talk about the Zeebe workflow engine and a little bit more about my background. Let's jump to it. My first pull request was 2019 before Quarkus 1. And then we did have an evaluation at the company, which framework we will use later on. And we decided for Quarkus. And there was I believe, Max, you have been there, I'm not sure. There was a meeting in Munich where we decided, okay, we would like to contribute to Liquidbase as a Liquidbase extension to the Quarkus. And that was the time when I did the first extension for the Quarkus. It was a Liquidbase extension for Quarkus 1. Now there is a completely new implementation, but the first one was from me at the time. And then how the project was growing and other stuff also in open source community, then I find out the Hibernate types from Vlad, which is very known utilities for Hibernate. Everybody knows that who is using Hibernate, was not fitting to Quarkus native. And that time I decided to make a Hibernate types extension for Quarkus. which was now taken over by Werner Glatzer, which I'm glad for it, because I cannot handle it, all this extension and these requests. Then the next one, which was the new one, was that Unleash extension, which is that client for Unleash feature flag management server. It's a wrapper for Unleash client to support all the Quarkus feature, native builds, testing, and so on, injecting the clients, make the configuration very quick, and so on. And the next one, extension, yeah.
So just we have a bit your issue. By the way, first of all, I wasn't in Munich, but I think this happened just before. I remember a discussion about it. But for some reason, your screen shows up very low, so it's very hard to read the screen for some reason. Is there any? Are you running on like extremely highly resolution or low one?
No, it should be. I'm not sure where I can set up the resolution there, but my resolution is very high right now.
Okay.
Is it very high?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Can you make it maybe lower? Maybe it will improve that a bit.
Yeah, it's weird. It looks like it's sending only a quarter of the. Oh, how much text is otherwise on your screen?
Just a little bit. There is not much text here.
Okay.
Just.
Yeah. Well, let's try and see if it gets better. Everything I see it you as receiving on a high resolution, so it's a bit weird. But yeah, let's continue and then we'll see how it goes.
Okay, let's move to mock server extension, which is very nice extension for local development and testing. If you need to mock a REST client or any HTTP server, then this extension is exactly what you need. You can set up it for local development mode or for testing to mock all the stuff. And the last one, which was created by me, was the Zeebe Camunda platform and client extension, and we can look on that in details. I will jump to the next one.
Nice.
Is the Camunda platform 8 is a huge architecture, but the main part, what is interesting in this extension is Zeebe client and Zeebe workflow engine, cloud native workflow engine, but the rest is part of the Camunda platform, but only the Zeebe workflow engine is there needed for the extension. Okay, when I move that, the Camunda platform or the Zeebe provides a Java library which you can integrate it in your project. The whole client is using gRPC protocol to pull the task for your application, which you need to execute for the workflow. And then you just get the task, you execute the task, and then you say complete it or fail. You complete or fail the job. And all this stuff, it's already there. There is very nice blog from Bernd Rucker, how to write such clients for Camunda. And that when you have such interface like gRPC, then this interface could be used for any language, any technology. You can have it clients in JavaScript, you can have it in Java, Go, whatever you need. That is the main architecture of the client. Just pulling the task, executing, and then you need to say complete or fail the task to workflow engine. How it looks like in Quarkus extension, you need to first write a method which you will put the annotation job worker, and then you will specify the type of the task or job which you want to execute. This is the name of it. And then you will specify the parameters. By default, the client is fetching all the parameters. By this annotation like variable or variables as type, you can filter the variables or just make the query of variables smaller, which affect the performance of the client, and you get nice injection of the variables in your method. And the return type is like the variable which you will send back to the workflow engine, and this variable will be set up to your process instance. This is the main concept of the client. Just specify the annotation, job worker, and then you will specify which variables you want to fetch, or you can fetch all of them, and then you execute your business logic and you just return back to the workflow the parameters. The whole implementation here is shadowing that implementation for Spring Boot Zeebe, which is implemented by Camunda community, and I try always to synchronize this with Spring Boot implementation, because mostly the idea are the same. That is just a different framework or engine in background which executed. In this implementation in Quarkus, all this injection of variables and all these workers are generated through compilation time. That means during the compilation, the extension finds, okay, you want to be registered for this type of job, you want to have these variables, and all this stuff, this configuration for the job worker will be set up during the compilation, and during the start time, it just used this information.
So Andrew, just so you know, so the screen is still showing up weird. Can you try and zoom in just more on whatever you have there on screen, just to see if it?
Oh, okay, that's not working. It not zoomed that. Fine. Let's put it in this way.
Yeah, the problem I don't think it's on the slides, because even your desktop, you'll see like a very bad resolution.
Yeah. So now we can see it. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Awesome. Let's put it here.
or maybe you can just make like a quick try to change the desktop resolution to a lower one to see if that improves.
Yeah, I can try it, but I would like to not mess up with the resolution right now.
Yeah. Yeah, just copy. If there any code, copy back into this resolution, then we can see what's going on. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Then
so basically just ZB lets you define workflow, and then just basically every job has variables coming in, and then you can orchestrate those things, right, via the code.
Yeah, you just write the your business logic for the process step.
Got it.
That's it. And what you can do, you can also, I will just copy paste it.
Yeah.
You can specify these input parameters. That is one thing, but output parameters could be an object, which is serialized to JSON, or input stream, or it could be map, or it could be completion stage or uni. That's the reaction. It's supported there. You can write reactive code directly for your process step. That's what I have here, and I believe I do have some kind of, I'm not sure if that is readable, but the extension support metrics in two ways. We have a metrics with micrometer, which is the new thing, and we have still metric with small array. Depends on your dependency in your project. The right metrics will be picked up for you. And also tracing, open telemetry or open tracing is supported by the extension. It really depends on your dependencies.
Very nice.
That is there. And I believe I prepare also some kind of demo, but I'm not sure if that would be visible or not. Now
Try and zoom in.
I will try that.
It's yeah.
No.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one. Yeah, it looks like sending one quarter of information. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, we see it clearly, but there's only like you just need a big font like before.
It looks like hieroglyphs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try magic number.
Yeah, double that.
Okay. Oh, so Robert.
Yeah, this we've had. This is a new one. Like I've had where there's bad resolutions or like compression, but it's not compression. This is like only sending parts of it.
There are no settings which I can change, but
Get
I
higher.
can.
Okay.
Let's try.
This is weird. When you joined, I saw the resolution was correct. So that was yeah.
But I will. I hope I will be back.
Sure.
No.
Maybe it's a long shot, but maybe we can just stop sharing and restart it again. The sharing, maybe. The really old trick of restarting stuff.
Yeah.
It may or may not work, but
yeah, you can try. Yeah, stop sharing, then I put back.
I can try to start to share only window or
OS I run it.
Yeah, try that. I mean, can't hurt.
What that? What? Yeah, so I can see you running. Oh, there we go. No, same problem.
Okay,
that's weird.
Interesting.
Okay, well, time zone and graphical scaling issues. Two of the best problems in the world.
Yeah, that's bad. Okay, I will just try to. It's not better, right?
No. Well, it got a little bit, but it's no. You have to be like twice the size of. You can read what you had before, where you paste it over into Notepad or whatever it was, the text editors.
Okay. Oh, let's put it at that. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, but now you're only sharing the edit IDE, so we can't see your thing. So you have to share the whole window. Yeah. Perfect. This is clear.
That's clear, right? That is strange.
Yeah.
And this one not. Right?
Oh, hey, stop! Don't touch it. It works now.
Okay. Good one.
Yeah. So whatever you did was perfect. So yeah, go. Yeah, now it looks great. We can see what you were talking about. Yeah.
Okay. This is just a simple example how you can write your workflow with Zeebe. You just specify the business steps with a name. You inject the variables, and then you do your business work, and then you return the variables or objects back to the workflow. I do have I'm not sure if that would be visible or not.
We see create parameter. Yes, we can see that one. Yeah.
Like that is fine.
Yeah, okay. And then we have some print parameter, and that is the whole process which is running there. That's is not interesting from point of view of BPM engine, BPM implementation, but it's simple process. And when I just start Quarkus dev, I set up the project that it will start Zeebe dev service in background. Plus, it will start a mock server for me because I want to implement some REST client. And also, I do have a ZB dev monitor, which I did implement it for this extension, which is just a development editor or monitor where you can see which processes you deployed in ZB. And you can do all the stuff like in any monitor UI. You can create instance. For example, let's take this one back. I do have it.
So is this, so again, the resolution is, a weird thing is that window you had before is how heavy you are. Weird issues we can't really see it, but is that in the dev UI or is it something for CB specifically?
I was thinking that I created a UI for it, but that's what I see as a issue there was I need to have a running server always in background because the ZB has just produce events to some REST endpoint or some server endpoint, and I need to have it running still when I restart the whole application or I going to shut down my development mode, then I can still reuse the Docker images in background. Right now, this is separated Docker image, which is Quarkus native with Svelte kit. And it's simple application which takes, I don't know, 20 megabytes of RAM or what. It's very simple and small application. And now I can start that process. It will be like completed. You can look here for everything what you need for that, like completed jobs, variables, and so on. But our process has been executed and we just started. Process, we print the parameters, and that's what we did in these two steps has been executed through our microservice application in Quarkus. We can I can go to editor, I can just add a new step, which will be named like update description. I will put there everything to update. For the guys that know ZB, that don't know the ZB, for the steps, you need to specify a service task. Then you have a task definition, and there you need to put your type. And this is exactly the type what you can see then in Java. I will just save it. And we have here update description task, which should update. The extension also track the changes in these classes and also track the changes in the BPM diagrams. He will just restart that application, deploy the process with new version 2. We can jump back to where I have it. Here, and we will see here we have a new process in version 2 deployed, and there we have this nice new steps. And for the steps, we can run it from outside. I put it a new instance, putting the parameters, and the instance will be completed and it will be run. And we have a description. That is just simple development, local development, how you can do it.
Okay. And so a lot of this stuff, so the BPM stuff, is similar to what we have in there's Cogito rules and rules and DPBM. So do you want to compare it's similar or different?
Yeah, I did start it with GBPM version 3, I believe, with JBoss Portal. Was 2009,
Yeah,
I believe. And
long time ago.
I did use all these GBPM versions till now. And also I look on the Cogito, and yeah, it's hard to say that like any other developers, I also implemented own version of workflow engines with different technologies, Golang, Java, and you have any IMQ server, whatever I tried. But be honest, that most my research end up with Zeebe, because that was what I was thinking after these whole years and my research. That is exactly, this is the cloud native workflow engine, because they have the persistence, something like similar to Kafka. They have a stream where they just add events. They have some states on broker, and you can scale up and scale down this whole infrastructure of Zeebe, and it's real cloud native engine to that. Compared to GBPM, GBPM is a little bit, I would say, old. It's not prepared for cloud native because of that database persistence, what you need to have. And this scaling there, it's very hard to have it like scale up and scale down with databases. You have always this bottleneck in the middle, which you need to tweak very high then when you want to have a multiple instances and so on. That is exactly what's happened also with Camunda Platform 7 or Camunda, the old version. They did use, or they are using still, database as a storage for state of the process, and you cannot scale it up to high performance and make the real cloud native engine there. But it's evolution. It's something which was created during the years, and we are moving forward. Compared to Cogito, I believe it's good implementation. What I would like to see there, it's moving forward and don't use this XML blob storage what we have in GBPM, that you store everything in the XML storage, because then you have really this problem when you have 10 instances and you send one instance proceed your process instance, and the second one get an event for your process instance, the next one get other events, and then you have lots of conflicts because you have a real one piece of blob somewhere stored which you need to synchronize through all the instances, which is I believe very hard. And then you have such patterns like retry and so on, mechanisms you need to introduce there and build it around it. That is at least my view there. It's evolution, and I believe after all these 10 years or more with GBPM or others BPM engines, I see Zeebe as something which will be used, and it's very, very cloud native framework engine, workflow engine.
Yeah. No, I'm taking note for good questions when we have the Cogito guys on in the future. We'll see what we are. So, just one thing. So you said the dev service. I know you need to have a lot. I believe we do have ability in our dev services to have them sticky. I forgot what it's called. I believe you have the same thing for Kafka, where the Kafka dev service survives a restart.
Yeah.
But I don't. You should be able to use that for the. Do you have that for the CB CB or?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, have it. Okay.
I do have it, and I have introduced these reusable Docker images from test containers that you can control also with that you can run multiple tests with one Docker image running or run instance. That is, everything is there. Is there. Yeah. From the extension, like you can see here, that the extension track these input parameters for your methods and try to find out the best way how to fetch the variables from workflow engine. In this case, it will fetch all variables from workflow engine. And in this case, it will fetch only variable name and variable input value. Input name and input value. And if you want to have all these variables you can still have inject the client, ZB client, or the job. You can have it as here as a parameters. For that, I believe I have another example. Like you can inject ZB client, which is provided for you from extension, and then you can execute all the native methods from ZB client, like create new instance that you specify which process you want to have it, which version, what are the variables, and then you can send it in reactive or blocking, non-blocking. You can choose at your choice how you want to use it. The same, this blocking, non-blocking, you can use for your process steps that you can use Uni, I believe it's called, right? That is the internal framework of Quarkus. And you can just make REST client, which is reactive REST client, just execute it. Everything should work fine. All execution of the steps will work on Vertex. And the extension is choosing based on that blocking, non-blocking, is choosing, should I run it on Vertex blocking, or I can run it Vertex natively. So this is what the extension is doing for you. If you have, this is the blocking code because you want to have a blocking REST client, I will fetch the data and I will return the parameter. It's blocking code. In this case, we have a non-blocking code, reactive REST client, and then we just execute the method. It's that what the developer can choose on what they need. They can choose based on this information or based on the method signature is decided.
Awesome.
And then when we started this example, we have also here mock server started. Mock server is a very nice tool. I'm not sure if that is visible, but it's just a dashboard of mock server, and the mock server is tracking all the mock data which I prepare here. You can change this mock data on the fly. The mock server will refresh them, and we can create some simple process with this reactive step. I will put this step in my process, and let's have it here. I put it here, new step. I would name it always the same, and the type is important. I will save it. Now I can do restart that, but I can also start my process through this REST controller or REST interface. I will put it this in the command line. Just start process. I start a new process with variables, and then we have also here metadata, which are coming from this mock server. When I change something here, for example, I would want to change my mock data, and I will start it again, then I should see different key. I see key -1 because the mock server is tracking this information, and it's automatically refreshed and updated in background for me. And
when you say mock server, that's the mock server, generic mock server you're talking about, or specific for ZB?
You mean, okay, it's a mock server, dev service, which is running. It's mock server is the name of the project. It's mock server is the open source project.
So you use your own Quarkus extension that supports mock server.
Yes.
To create this, to use in your testing of this. So that's what,
yes.
Yeah, got it.
That's awesome. That's what you can use this also for the tests. When we look on the test, we have here for the test, I can inject ZB client, and I can create new instances, and then the ZB, I believe it's ZB or Camunda, there is a library where you can check if the process is completed, because everything happens asynchronous in background. You have no, like, if you start process, it's sent as an event in ZB broker process stays, your job is executed, and in some time the process instance is finished. And that's how you can check, okay, in at least in 7 seconds the process needs to be finished, right? And I need to have these two variables, and I can compare all other variables, for example, description. That's what I can check there. It's simple test. What you can also do is you can start the process where you go. Let's have an example where I'm going to use mock server client. Mock server client is a client from mock server which communicates, I believe, with the mock server with WebSocket, and you can dynamically create your own mock data in the test and during the test, and you can reuse them. Like, okay, I will put it here. I have here I have some kind of data which I want to start, but I will put here mock server client, or this one, a little better. Mock server, I create my data, metadata, and I will overwrite my rule in static file. I will send a request to my mock server through this client. When there is a request metadata method get, then with priority 100, it will overwrite that static file, responds my data from this test. And in this way, I can dynamically change or create any mock data for my REST server specific for the test. I can also specify how much time should this rule live, or how much time should be requested. I can specify only one time. Then it's only one time, and then the mock server will be replace this. I will put it down, this one. And now I've input data for my mock server. Then I start my process instance. Then I will just compare if the process ID is what I get from event, and then I will check the process instance here, and then I can check the variables. And this test should fail because these variables are one-to-one to my static file where I specify is here. That is okay there, but I did override them with my rules, I believe, yes. And we can, okay, see it here, that it's not fitting that what I specify the rules there.
Yeah, so that part of your screen is small, so for some reason we can't see that.
There is just an error. There is just an error. I need to compare it to this mock data here. I need to compare it like here. That metadata will be exactly the data which I send through mock server to my job, and the job will put it in, as a variables. That is what we have there.
Very cool.
Okay, that's at least these are two, I would say, simple extension. There is no rocket science, I believe, behind this. It's just a standard implementation, what you can see in other extensions. I believe most of this source code, what I put there, I did find it in other extension. Like I did find the implementation of Quarkus scheduler very helpful, because you need to start, there are also methods, and there I look for implementation, how to implement and how to start reactive blocking or no blocking code. And also I did found some source code helpful from Spring Boot implementation for ZB. And I put all this stuff together and I just created this ZB extension based on this information. You can find the documentation is currently just written down only in README. I would like to move it to standard documentation page for the extension, but you can find there like this. You can find there all that extension. You can enable, disable tracing, health check, metrics. You can use Camunda Cloud service, or you can have only your own instance. The security configuration is there. You can specify the pooling, all the stuff, and the settings for your workers, some timeout, pool, and so on for that. And also these tracing attributes, which attributes you want to send to tracing, all the documentation, local development. With this monitor service, there are examples, look, the share services, and what we have here, the standard metrics. And if I scroll down, then there are examples where you can use for development, how to specify this kind of job, and how to inject the variables in your job, which annotations are available there, what kind of annotation, all that stuff should be documented here. Needs to be just moved to the standard page, I believe. For now, it was much easier for me writing README as a checking the documentation. It just generate the content, and then I hope somebody will also join and correct me, because I believe, at least from past, you do always mistakes in some documentation for attributes and so on. And I'm glad that people find it out and just create a merge request. I will merge it. I hope the community will help me here with that stuff.
Right. Very nice.
That's it. Cool. I believe from my side, just brief overview of that ZB extension.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does that native mode?
Yes, it's support native mode from first version. That was my target for it, because we do have at least in my daily work, I do use some native Quarkus native microservices, and for that we need to have a support for native mode. And I will scroll fast up. You can find here the examples. There are just examples, basic examples for tracing base BPM example, but also integration test for Panache, for example, if you want to have it. And all these integration tests are running also in native mode. That is nice. Here you have an example of with transaction Panache. If you want to do some stuff, then it should be very simple and easy to use.
So Holly can't be here today, but I'll challenge her and give you a mark on the extensions, because normally we have people going on and they either most have done native, some haven't, but many don't realize they can have a dev service and make this much easier. But you check all of them. You have a nice API integrated, good injections, testing, dev service, and native. So very nice. So And did you? So I saw you So since you've done liquid-based backend, so you got both the Quarkus 1 and 2 and 3 T-shirt, or is it?
Yeah, that's true. I have also the last one.
Awesome.
I'm waiting for release day for the version 3, right?
Yeah.
That's also.
Yeah.
If I look on this extension, that is the next plan is to upgrade. There will be new ZB release 8.2, I believe that would be the upgrade. And also now the API is stable, and I can try to create a Quarkus 3 branch and move it there. Yeah. Move it there and prepare it for release day.
Yeah. So what by the way, what we recommend is for the Quarkus one is that you create a branch for 2, and then that maybe main be the 3. But
yeah, that's good. That's better choice. Yeah.
So okay, so you don't yet have you haven't tried with Quarkus 3 yet.
Not yet. I'm still waiting. I learned from past, that's alpha version, beta version. You need to be patient, and now I believe I did try it just for small application, and now I have a feeling that I can move forward and try it real with extension and create a branch.
Yeah,
that is.
Yeah.
Just
so do please. Yeah. So right now you might be missing something for the hybrid reactive stuff in Petras reactive, but everything else should be fine.
That's
just to know if there's what's interesting to know is if there's anything in your dependency to Camunda to ZB, if there's any of your dependencies there that are not Jakarta fine, that kind of thing.
No, that should be fine. I believe with Quarkus, with the next version of Quarkus, I would like to get rid of it, of open tracing and smaller stuff, and just keep only the open telemetry there, because it's right now.
Open tracing, we already deprecated, and we will remove it in either 3.1 or 3.2.
Yeah, exactly. That is my target, to get rid of this deprecated. I keep it right now, both of them there, because they are project that still needs open tracing, and you cannot easily migrate to open telemetry. But for the next release, when I plan it with new Quarkus, then I would like to get rid of this and keep just clear code there, because there is a lot of ballast because of this too. You need to support both of them, and then you need to also have some kind of abstract classes pattern to support both sides.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, So, anything else on this one, or any other extensions you have? You've done a lot. I'm very impressed. And
yeah.
I was asking, if anything else, or
no. Just if you have questions, then
you don't have anyone on the chat, but I think despite the resolution on the screen, you showed, you fairly easy to get going, get started, so fairly straightforward. Pretty good I was clear from my side.
Okay, I will put this project in GitHub as a public.
How about you, Roberto?
Yeah, I mean, look great. I think we
yes, that'll be good. Yes, please.
We nail some of the things, right? I think the having the conversation earlier about the why, I mean, the differences between like the JVPMs or the BVPMs. I mean, I think it's interesting, right? Discussion, right? So if someone wants to come in and start with the BPM engine, which one should we choose, and why? The differences between one or the other. I think that was like a very interesting discussion, right? Even myself, I mean, I probably still stuck from 10 years ago with just with the experience I had with JBPM at the time. So I had no idea with the new stuff.
Very cool. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, again, a million thanks for all the stuff you've done with ZB and the Mark server and what's it called, the persistent thing, the testing, Liquidbase. Sorry, that was
Liquidbase. Yeah.
So and those are they make a difference. I hear about them almost once a week, so they're definitely being used and looked at. So very much appreciated. Okay, well then we'll be good and end on time this time. So thank you, and see you on the next week. Hopefully with well, it's 2 weeks from now. It'll be the time zone shift again the other way, but hopefully next week will be fine. All right, thank you. See you around. Bye.